Syracuse being the first one went through, we did the ranked choice ballots to kind of make it a more equitable process and not just a popularity contest, which has been a concern of several people. We're going to continue that moving forward. I'm not going to go too much belabor it because it's TNT thing, but we're going to, moving forward, do the in-person ballots and then canvass around the area so that we give people that are directly impacted by what's going up on the wall a chance to have a say and come to the meeting, speak up, at the meeting. So, so that'll happen in the future. And again, I found that it leveled the playing field and it made a much more equitable voting process. But yeah, Harold is totally in support. He's met with Kaitan. Has he met with you? Yeah.
Well, we've talked about it in the past, but we have another meeting set up for Thursday. Just to talk about the wall.
Right. Okay. So the once this is planned to take place in June for the painting, and then we're going to have a big event. It's going to be on a Thursday. The board discussed this. We don't want to conflict with festival season coming up in the summer, and we want to make sure that we get a lot of people there. So we can talk about this later, but I think it'd be really great to have commissioners present. We're going to have demos by materials that we've talked about this at Golden and Montana. There'll be some interactive activities, and I got to say, through this process, I found that a majority of people do not understand they have to come through this commission. They do not understand why we exist. So I think it's been good for us to do this, so that we're educating people about why they need to come through here.
Sure. And the city's campus program, in collaboration with TNT and SPAC, we really kind of shifted a goal to being one part education for these developers, building and property owners, and one part education for the general public and the artists involved. It's all about, this commission kind of has like a thing that happened where we all kind of are on the same page about really trying to bring the educational part forward. So this TNT program will have a lot of that. We're also in contact with a few artists who potentially can be hired to come and teach anyone who's interested in artists of any age about scaling and murals.
We actually had
talk about that. Wonderful. And so this affects any of what we're talking about, but I just wanted to let you know that this is a very exciting time, as we already well know, and there are more RFPs out than ever before, and I don't know if we can look up in our notes, but I'm pretty sure it was like 2013, 2014 since we had 3 artists come to the table in one monthly meeting to put up murals in the city. So thank all of you for coming to the table like this. Let's get down to it, shall we? Kaitana, would you like to speak at all to this piece before we vote?
Just that the piece is really personally important to me. I think it's really to me it's something that came about at the perfect time for Syracuse as a city, but also the building, and then just the world in general, to create a piece about recreation and new life, out of the ashes sort of thing. And so to be able to also have like the permission from the city of Miami was just like, I thought amazing. It's just I feel like it brings a little prestige to the piece and to the Syracuse in general. And I've been painting signs and stuff for a while, so the longevity of the sign should be not an issue. The signs I painted like 5 years ago still was brand new.
Yeah.
I'm going to be using the same system probably here, as long as I can have the artist go to order that, which is what I'm in discussions with them about now. But it'll be enamel, so it'll have nice longevity and it'll be good for the next couple of years, or more than 10 for sure.
Sure. Excellent. All right. Any discussions from any questions from any commissioners on this piece? Okay. I'd like to do a vote or get a motion so that we can vote.
I motion.
Ivana.
To approve.
To
Yes,
approve.
to approve.
Yes, for voting.
I'll
second.
Elias, Andrew. Okay, all those, and is there any discussion further after that? No. All those in favor, raise your hand and say. Very good.
Congratulations.
It is unanimous. So the first seat is canvas, and you know that block party is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to still work towards the goal of bringing some more entertainment and things to the table, and really make it educational for it. So we're psyched. We're happy to have such a talented artist be the first for this piece, and we will work with you to make sure that Art Store and everybody gets you some even further discounts on that budget. All right.
All right.
Is there any chance we can get someone from my end of the state to come through?
I'm not sure, but it seemed like when I was talking to them, they handed me off a little bit.
Sure.
So I assume that just some of the the nuances in the email, I think it was what do you call it, an intern that I was speaking with. So I'll certainly send them a message and ask someone to come through.
Yeah, you too.
I mean, that would be
Tell them
great.
I got greenlit, tell them it's going up.
Yeah, once our date is good, we can send an invite maybe.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll roll out the red carpet.
Awesome. Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
thanks
thank
for
you all so
having
much. Appreciate you.
Congratulations, then.
Thank you. So did you hang out or?
If you'd like to,
You
yeah.
can stay, you can go. It's up to you. No one will take offense if you,
Okay.
if you want to go outside to the street.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Good luck.
Awesome. So I'll just go back to the first one. So, yeah, we'll talk to Japanese. And this is SPAC 22-03 over at our favorite hideaway on the edge of town, Ava's European Seats.
It is literally the last
yeah.
parcel
Yeah, she debated it during the
before
last,
jumping
yeah.
over into what's Solvay?
Solvay,
Yeah,
yeah.
Solvay.
So there's like a map of jurisdiction, and like Tina and I looked at the map, and the map's kind of like up here, but the line is directly to like the left side of Ava, so it's like Ava's is the only thing that's left in the parcel, right? Yeah, that was interesting. Because we were under the impression it was the other way around at one point in time, but now we know. So, wait, how many do you already have on the building, Jack?
Two in the back?
Just two in the back. So you'll have 3 murals. You only have one more side to go.
Yeah.
So, by the way, just so everyone knows,
Yes.
kind of times it's as wet and still I write. I wrote still I write.
It says a hand still I write on the.
Oh, no, I know. Okay, I'm just.
Very good. So Jack's been here before. She knows the drill. We're going to. You guys all had a chance to take a look at this here. You'll be using spray paint mostly for this one.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then here's the depiction. It's the sister. It's the sister of the one hanging at the other restaurant. What is it? Francesca's.
Yeah.
So Jack, why don't you speak to the process a little bit here?
Okay, so Ava is very out of the box, and she's not necessarily super traditional, but she does kind of want to keep some kind of traditional art. To her mural, she's celebrating 25 years in business, June, I think, believe, 13th.
Wow.
So that's the reason why she really wants to do a mural, kind of celebrate, give back to the community. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this location that it's at, but it's actually kind of like a little rougher area, and we really want to start beautifying that and just start putting positivity into the community. So, I mean, there's a lot of drug addiction. I come from a background of drug addiction too. So, I just know that when I was doing Francesca's mural, there were so many people that would walk by and stop, and they would just compliment. They were so happy that Syracuse is more open to murals. So that's kind of the reason why she wants to give back to the community to help in that way. But so we decided there is the old mural of the Polish restaurant, as you can see to the far right. Originally, she wanted to get rid of it, but I saw so many people leave and take pictures of it, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, I have a hard time with getting rid of things. I like to add value or flip it if you can. So I thought it'd be really cool to keep that portion of the mural and do more of like a whitewash around it, maybe give it like an antique kind of wallpaper feel and push it into it, but where it's not so forward. Her hair, that's, okay, so I just kind of pulled from like flowers from a different picture, but I want to do, they're going to be more like 3D. This is the ones that I did here are more with acrylic. But in her hair, I want to kind of, I think, do more Polish colors. Like, if you ever look at Polish flowers, they're colorful, but they're multi-colorful. So like, it might be like red on the outside and then fade to like an orange, something like that. So that's going to be kind of like her flowers. Her earring is a Polish earring, and then we're going to hide like pierogies and roosters are like huge in their culture. So we thought it'd be really fun to kind of like, to the far right, if you can see they're kind of abstract. Roosters, I just Googled real quick, but I would make them more prominent. And then maybe hide some in her hair and, I don't know, just have fun with it, like Ava's personality.
The woman in the picture, who is that?
That is just a drawing that, like a reference photo that I pulled from and then tried to start to manipulate like her face, her eyebrows and stuff like that. But I'm really gonna kind of reference between her and Ava. So there's two. I don't know, she kind of liked the concept how I did with Francesca's, the grandmother. So she kind of liked that, but we didn't want a portrait of Ava, but something where it's symbolic for Polish women, but also like any woman, because really it doesn't matter, like her heritage aside, she's a woman in business, and she's successful, and it's created her empowerment.
Yeah,
for other
like,
women.
she's like the matriarch of the whole entire Polish community, for sure. When it comes like Polish Fest downtown, like she's literally running the shit. You know what I mean? So like she's got a big personality, which is interesting.
So
This has some photorealism to it, though.
I just have one, like, I think it's great, and
Yeah.
I have the issue with the content. But my only concern is this is pressure wash if needed. I think anytime you paint on surface, you should pressure wash it because there is dirt buildup that's on it from vehicles, oils, whatever.
Yeah,
It
it's
should
still-
always be cleaned
Yeah.
because
Right.
over time, it'll start to lift off that surface with water and things like that.
Right.
So I think you should pressure wash it.
Okay.
For sure.
I mean, I know for like Francesca's, I couldn't necessarily like
Right.
pressure wash it because it was such an old building, it was very kind of falling and patched, so, but yeah.
And then also, I missed it, I apologize. Are you putting like a sealant over this, or is it?
I think I'm gonna put, an anti-graffiti sealant over it, so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, next door there's like a car shop or something, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it does kick off a lot over there on the corner. Okay. And then, yeah.
I have a question actually about this sign. So is the sign itself square? The sign, for the restaurant? This one right here?
Angular.
Is it rectangular?
Yeah, it literally is just the way that it is, like, I barely touch.
Because I think,
Yeah, you can kind of see another picture, okay? Just look around.
oh, yeah, actually, yeah. You know, we're always,
It's literally been there for like the entire.
oh, no, I'm not suggesting get rid of it, I'm not at all, I just don't want anyone to suggest that we are.
Advertising. Yeah, it is one.
And it is an ancient of days sign, so I want to maintain that.
That if it's pre-existing?
It's pre-existing, and so what I was just trying to say is, don't super incorporate it into it, you know what I mean, like, you said,
That's
I mean,
interesting.
I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
gonna
interesting you brought it up.
you
I
all
mean,
think, I just wanna,
for.
I would want her hair to be like, you know, become part of her, like, it's,
It's literally, I want it to be kind of swooping over and I almost want to like push it back more.
yeah. I just,
25 years into that ancient, could it be like some kind of
it's ancient,
artifact?
it's at least.
Quarter-year crisis. Well.
No, I think people would miss it if it was gone.
Yeah.
And, so, but we've always been advised, like,
Yeah, we have to
watch
walk that
out,
line, yeah.
incorporating signage, you know, anytime you're advertising into
The
murals, so,
How much-
and I don't want to draw attention to it either. That's it, it's like, let's just, because almost certainly she has
What if you
signage.
just hard edge stopped around it?
Yeah, can you just hard edge stop?
Oh, yeah, if anything, I'm gonna be like going over it.
Okay, yeah, I would just,
I don't even really
hard edge
mess with
stop
it.
around it.
Huh?
I just, it's,
Hard edge stop around it. If there's an existing thing on the building, the artist didn't touch it. And that would be the easiest way to argue that that wasn't.
Like I like the idea of it got slapped on like a wallpaper, but the
But that
only way we can separate it is if it's just like, this is the sign that was already there, this is the mural.
you can paint around it.
Yeah,
But I mean,
if
like,
the-
could I even push it back further though, with like a whitewash over it, is what I'm saying, like, where
That
it's not.
incorporates it into the mural.
I
though.
would, I would do
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
I
Yeah.
would do it.
Okay,
I would
that's
just do it, and then actually, maybe one day we can get a ton of tax to.
yeah, really.
Because it's really.
refurbish
Was
it.
that this time?
Right.
No, just like you can see, it's a hand painted sign guy, you know what I mean?
Or you can do it.
Kelly
if you're-
Perry.
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
But that would be a sign.
Yeah, I know, I didn't
and
know if that was his,
Very
I was like,
different.
curious.
So yeah, that'll be a different project, but I think incorporating, not for this project.
Yeah.
Incorporating it in another project. So basically, I think incorporating this into the mural would be a beneficial thing for the mural purposes. But for the commission's purposes, we are not going to, like, don't incorporate this sign. But I think that's something, again, you can do on a different, you can do it on, these can be two separate projects, they just happen to be on the same wall, part of the same
We
thing.
have in our ordinance, the thing that like gives us the ability to do this, we work on behalf of the city, and one of the factors that's very clear is it cannot be an advertisement.
Right.
So it's technically an advertisement.
If it's, yeah, oh, it's
If it's
definitely.
incorporated into
If
the
it's
mural
incorporated,
at all.
yeah, then I would say there, some people may question it. So let's just, if it works for, Ava, I'm sorry.
So how about
Yeah.
this?
And
So if
Ava,
okay, so you can do like a fade out effect, right, from my mural into it, where it kind of just like fades it off, where it's not hard edge, or I can literally hard edge around it like a frame. What would be,
I think if you fade it out over it, it would be like incorporating it into the mural.
right, well, no,
Like you
I mean
just-
like fading my mural out.
Before it gets
got to it?
Yeah, or it should be hard edge, either way.
So like,
Either way. it's
so
more
like for
clear.
this, Jack, like, like the brick behind it, so not like blue to the front,
Yeah.
is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you could do that.
Yeah, like if you, like the second window,
Yeah,
if you like,
something, yeah, okay, I got it,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Would be like the way we really separate it. But like if we're talking like just like around it, like a little bit of brick in a perfect like fake
We
frame.
kind of did that,
You know what I mean?
look on Francesca's mural, so I'm wondering how
That
these,
frame, like just leave it there, yeah.
yeah.
But so the closer your mural edges to this,
right,
the more difficult it is for us to not have to come back around and say, you gotta get rid of
Right.
get rid of the paint there. So just give yourself whatever, 6, 7. What's the protocol there, right?
sorry,
Go ahead, Alan. Yeah.
Well, for me, that sign has been there for so long.
Yeah.
I view it not as advertisement, I view it more as a landmark
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's been in that community for as long as I can remember.
Sure.
So when I drive by, I'm like, oh, it always just reminds me, even since I'm a visual person,
Yeah.
I don't see it as advertisement, I just think of it as landmarking.
Mm.
And for me, you hold on to that sign for nostalgic reasons, for historical reasons, for holding on to the integrity of what is already there, and to incorporate your art into that, and working on that wall, having these like refined things, to me, it's not necessary, but it is necessary that, like for example, like if you get grant money to turn this building into a living law, right? In order to get them to approve it, they might tell you, oh, you can't remove poles, you can't remove the ceiling, like you have to hold on to the integrity of the building. So that's kind of the way I view this, is just trying to understand the integrity of what is already there. And kind of like, I won't really touch that, and I will work with it. And to me, I'm not gonna understand that this woman is advertising this. It's not gonna click in my head that that is something. It's gonna look like this was already there, and now this is happening, and it's like another generation that's bringing this on. So that's just the way I understand it.
Why don't you just make a frame of pierogies and call it a day?
Yeah.
Actually, that would be
That would
worse.
be worse, no, you can't do
That
that.
would be worse.
Stop.
I actually really one of two things.
Yeah, it's either hardline around it or
Yeah.
fade before you get to
Yeah,
it. And then, you know,
Yeah.
Ava wants to either pay you or someone else to jazz up the sign that goes to the sign committee.
I think the sign looks cool though by itself.
Yeah.
Like the way that it is.
It's fine.
I love it.
That's
Antique
almost
feel.
goes.
Yeah.
Does it have, it is like, it's like fake, yeah, it's like
Yeah,
fake, yeah.
I feel like it wouldn't be as cool if somebody read it. Like, I
Well,
don't
give it another 25 years, it'll be cool again.
There you go.
So one suggestion, and I don't know if it's a bad, if it's a good
No, you're
suggestion,
good.
terrible, but if it might help as something to think about is that if you had her face switch to this side and then because her face is creating a hard line, right? Whereas this is like one of questioning it, like this stuff is like questionable where it begins, where it ends, kind of a thing. But if you considered if it was something that made sense to you to have her face on this side, like flip it, because that has the hard edge, so it could have a very clear stop before the sign.
The only reason why her face is there is just because the portion of the actual building, that's where it would be able to like heave and flow with the actual building.
That makes sense.
Yeah, trust me, I wanted her actually closer to the street,
Sure.
but
It's pretty unobstructed though, right? Like, I mean, there's like the building's kind of far back on the corner, so you
Yeah.
come to the corner of the street, like it's,
no, I mean, as soon as you turn the corner, you can see it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can see it.
cool.
Gorgeous stuff.
Hey, but I'm really excited about it.
Should we wait to get another rendering?
Well, yes,
Or we can, or you can, put a condition on it, submit the revised.
yeah.
If you're willing to, then you're. No,
Sorry.
or,
I have to jump, so.
okay.
Yeah. So we can, after our discussion here, obviously there's gotta be somewhat of a change, so in order for us to fully approve, we need the final rendering. And so we can, motion to approve with the contingency of the final rendering that shows the version where you leave sign as a separate part of the mural. And then we can vote today, and you can send us the rendering when you do it, and we can move forward.
Oh, wait, I have a question, or I have a suggestion for you guys.
Yeah.
You should think about taking pictures as a committee in front of the murals after we're done, and posting them for your thing. I really wanna get you guys in front of Francesco's. Because I was gotten trouble for that one.
Oh.
But, yeah, I think
It's
that would be,
I was gonna say, we have a motion on the table. So, is there a second?
When do you want to start working on this?
June sixth, the week of June sixth.
So, that means that she has to, or we have to call something special where to pass this through.
No, not with, as long as, if you can empower me to look at it and say this is acceptable, then that's,
Yeah.
we don't need that
Okay.
section.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a week before the next meeting.
So I will motion to approve with a contingency that a new revised design is submitted to Kate and she gives it.
I will, it's submitted to staff for approval.
Seconded.
And what I would like to is that, that you would just shoot us an email on what that image
Yep.
will look like.
Yeah,
everything.
we're all
If there's
gonna
any
see it.
discussion, okay, never mind, yes, that's perfect.
Okay, we'll all have to see that, so Tina on the first, Elias on the second, which means unless there's any.
Or Emmanuel,
Oh,
I think
okay.
Emmanuel got there first, right?
Okay,
So,
okay,
yeah.
yeah. Sometimes they just come from different places. And then,
Or at least I put Emmanuel.
is there any discussion further? No, so let us vote. All those in favor? Okay. All right, Jack. So, thank you.
Thank you.
And so Jack will just, yep. All right. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Nice one.
All right, very good. Rolling right on. SPAC 2205, this is 3 Cs for Syracuse. And Daniel's here. Printouts here.
Oh, great.
Oh, that's so, I am totally posting this.
Keep them.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Great.
So there's scale drawing of 3 Cs for Syracuse.
Oh, this is lovely. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting for you, yeah.
So I don't have like a I have one superimposed picture of the wall with a mural on it. This is from a sketch that I did,
Okay.
and it's the second incarnation of the sketch. This is my package that we sent to you guys.
Yeah.
I was going to read this 3 C's mural statement. I can do that. There's a resume here of mine.
Sorry, yeah.
And this is the wall. It's on,
You know, they have that picture.
okay. Oh, so you guys all have that? Okay, good. So basically, I went into the dive shop last year and was kind of just talking to I said, wow, that's an interesting wall you got back there. You know, I can paint murals and I'd love to paint like a coral reef for you if you want one. And the guy went, yeah, you know, he was all excited about it. Chris Ryan is his name, and he like you know, gave me permission without even seeing any design or anything. He was just like, he had an employee. They didn't really do much with it. And so I just sort of came in unbeknownst to that and gave him this second incarnation of the design, which is rather than have just one coral reef 61 feet long, I thought, why don't we educate the community about the ocean and have a coral reef on one side of it, the left side of it, a temperate seas in the middle, and then polar seas at the end. At that end are narwhals and beluga whales and stuff like that. And as I was scraping off the crumbling concrete and plastering in a new fresh coat of it, several people who were just walking their kids or walking along, going to a store or something, said, what's going on? You know, and I said, we're going to paint a mural here. It's going to be about the sea. And they said, I can paint fish, you know, so, you know, it already started to generate excitement without any painting going on, just me with a trowel, knocking loose all the parched cement and stuff. And so I came there a second time to finish the whole sort of prep for the surface. Without anybody's permission here, sorry about that. I had no idea that that you guys existed. Really, I didn't know that. So I would have come here first, believe me. Okay, great.
But you're also from Ithaca, right?
I am. And I was visiting my grandchildren here, and they're, so I just came to this dive shop, and that's where the whole thing sort of started. I sort of instigated it because I love to paint murals, you know. And the guy seemed open to the idea, so I said, okay, you know, let's see if we can see where it'll go.
And so he provided a budget to you.
He didn't provide any budget. There is no budget yet. I hope to open a GoFundMe account, which I've had a certain measure of success with in the past. Let's see, I was going to say that the second time I came there to actually clean up the wall and continue on with the prep work, there were 6 barrels in a little area in the back of a parking lot. There's a little parking lot between the buildings there. And there were 6 barrels of stuff there. That one was some sort of chemical or something that was sealed off, and it said poison and stuff like that. So I called the city of Syracuse is terrific. Because I called the city. No, wait, I called the city completely unrelated to you guys. There's no art commission. When you call the city about toxic waste, nobody from the art commission answers the phone. But this lady was there, Andrea, her name was. And it was just like, she said, I said, look, ma'am, I'll take you to a nice dinner if you can find, Roger, sorry. I take you to a nice dinner if you can find me somebody who will get those toxic barrels out of there. And, within 4 hours, there was an environmental cop pulling up.
Wow.
And it's the air conditioning business guy.
On the other side, yeah.
Yep, right on the other side. And he, easily forklifted the pallets of the stuff back into his shop. He was just storing them there. He wasn't like, doing anything with them. Wasn't taking a big hole and burying them there or anything. So they're gone. And so the whole site, that part of the site and the cooperation of the city of Syracuse was terrific. I mean, I was like blown away. The guy was there in 4 hours. So I was overjoyed. I've showed Chris Ryan, the owner of the shop, this mural. He liked it, and it's busy, but I figure I'm of the Diego Rivera School of Muraling, and I've been to Mexico City and seen a lot of his work, and it's fabulous, and it's an educational process. So, my idea is to educate people about the oceans, endangered. I don't have any destroyed reefs or anything like that. I want it to be vibrant and alive and full of color and life and fish and octopus and shrimp and everything else. And so, the whole idea was to educate the neighborhood. I have a statement here, which
I have a question.
Sure.
So, you're saying that the mural is not currently funded at the moment?
No, I'm going to go to CNY Arts, and I'm going to open a GoFundMe account and see how that works.
And you said you've had success with finding funding in the past?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a
Yeah,
lot
I'm
of-
not too worried.
A lot of color, a lot of paint. Do you have some idea of how much it would?
How much paint I'll need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, I'm thinking if I go with Utrecht, which is a really good mural paint, it has extra pigments I found 3 other artists who are going to help me with this. 3 other people.
Are they local people? Are they from Syracuse, or where are they from? Different area?
Yeah, one is from Connecticut. She's a Cornell student. Really talented, amazing artist. The other, well, believe me, the street will provide. I'm convinced of that. I've been meeting.
Well, there's reasons why we're asking you these kinds of questions, is because we have a mural program, and our connection is working with Syracuse artists in Syracuse locations, and you keep on trumping all that stuff by saying Utrecht. If you buy your paint at Utrecht, it means that you have to go through the like the art store, which is the local art supply.
But that's only for City of Campus.
Right, that's for
This
City of
isn't a
Campus,
City of
but like-
Campus project.
The irony behind this one is he came while we're in the middle of City Campus with a new project. It just happens to be.
Right, it wasn't intended to be a city of
Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
So he's
So it
talking
doesn't
about
have to be
self-funding
local.
this.
This
Yeah.
one, he's trying to get funding, I guess, right,
Yeah.
which we didn't know until we saw the presentation.
I'm not worried though.
But you're right, but it also falls outside of our,
Yeah, because he's from Trumansburg,
Right.
and then he's talking about other people from Thompson County.
right, which
Ms. Kelly,
For this.
but
for
believe
this-
me,
Yeah.
when we start this, I won't refuse any other people who wanna help. Children,
Right.
That's not the point.
Oh, we
artists.
have
Yeah, I know what you're saying, I understand too, that I'm not starting out with Syracuse artists.
Yeah.
No.
What we're saying, we're hoping to be able to help you fund it, but we can't.
Yeah.
Because of
Because-
these.
You can approve it, but
factors.
you can't fund it.
Um,
Because of
okay.
because of those.
So approval is a good first step. What Ellen was bringing up is we have a lot of federal funding money for mural project right now. We do not, however, have the ability to give it to anyone outside of the city of Syracuse.
Okay.
So we have like a very
Yeah.
And that's what I was hoping.
That's fine,
Yeah.
give
With
Syracuse
Syracuse.
federal money to Syracuse
Yeah.
artists,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And I'll use Syracuse artists, if you bring me Syracuse artists, I'll use them, and you can pay them
How
if
do
you
you
want to.
normally, are you commissioned for these other murals that are examples here?
Yes,
Okay.
through, Ithaca mostly,
Sure.
and sometimes private individuals hire me, like restaurants will hire me.
Okay.
I did a mural in a pizza store, New Day for New York, which is a portrait of the city post 9/11.
Sure.
So that was financed, by the owner of the business and so on.
Another thing too is, I don't think
Yeah.
SCNY Arts is going to give
They won't.
an Ithaca artist money to work in Syracuse,
Really?
really.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so, because you have to
I-
use that money
They're
to
really
work in your.
picky. I mean, you could try.
They're outside of
You
the
can-
county.
That is the only
Maybe not.
district that can be used.
It doesn't include Tompkinstown?
Yeah, it does. I'm sorry, I do have something for Tompkins.
Oswego, Oneida, Auburn,
Madison.
Portland,
It doesn't include Auburn.
like,
Yeah, but
You
not.
might be able to-
Some of their monies does include Cubic County. I know that
Yeah.
personally, because I talked to Liz
Yeah,
about Cubic
it's a
County.
funny story.
You
We'll
might-
get,
Okay.
So
we'll get
do
to that
talk to
later.
them.
Yeah,
It's
you might-
okay, I mean, I'll find it somehow, it's okay.
So
I just
what
had-
I wanna know is your confidence in finding the funding, cause I don't wanna vote for a mural that like gets half done.
Oh, no,
Or
no,
like, you know,
That won't
because of
happen.
funding, or, you know, something happens in between, that's my main concern.
sure.
okay.
So, I
I
mean,
can understand.
my main questions are, you know, you said you've had success crowdfunding in the past, like, how much success, what are the, you know, they wrote in support of your mural, but are they going to put up any money
Right,
to
it
support
brings us
it?
back,
Like,
it brings us
I
back to
feel
the
like
business owner
they
who's
should,
saying, cool, light my wall up and make my place of business beautiful and.
and then not.
Yeah, he, of course, obviously he wants that. He actually did offer to pay for something.
Yeah.
Cause I didn't think, it seemed like it was not the most successful business, you know, and,
It's
it's like,
interesting because it's the only of its kind in the entire region and it's been open since 1959.
Yeah, they're
yeah,
actually pretty.
so there's a certain measure of success with it, but
Yeah.
it's not like fancy and,
Yeah.
you know, his diving tank and his practice place
Sure.
is like pretty hammered, you know, I mean, it's been there since 1959
That's
after
true,
all,
that's
you
true.
know.
It is handy down equipment and stuff like that.
Indeed it is. So I just thought, well, I don't care, I just wanna paint an ocean mural.
Yeah.
You know, I was
I would
with
like them to
Greenpeace in the
support it.
70s and stuff, and I was enamored of the seas and went out on all these voyages to save the whales and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, is it unheard of for the Public Art Commission to officially accept a mural that has no funding at its
We
time?
have done this
Okay.
before, and, so it's approval, and, you know, it's not going into the permanent collection or
Sure.
anything. I mean, it's in cities,
Mhm.
our ownership, that means our ownership.
Right,
So
right.
it stays with private property.
Right.
We've not actually had a situation where a mural is halfway done that we have approved.
Okay, so then.
We have had murals that are halfway done that are not approved.
Right. Indeed.
Let's not go there.
So,
It's not travel down.
but to flip the script a little bit.
Let's not go there,
Murals
yes.
that are approved that are halfway done.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Say again?
Okay, there were murals approved
Yes, yeah.
that are halfway done.
Yes.
And they're not gonna get.
Right, right.
That one on the,
Yeah.
on the
we wanna make sure that it gets completed. We don't want a lack of resource to be
Right,
a barrier.
the deciding factor.
Yeah.
You know, the way the whole thing has come together,
Yeah.
just like a casual conversation with the guy who runs a dive shop, a wall that exists with a lovely little parking lot, and it's a beat up kind of little gravelly area in the back.
It's actually an area that's getting revitalized. quite
Yes,
a
it
bit,
is.
Yeah.
And that's
think
what I
it's
noticed.
important to have this, but, I
So-
want it finished.
Yeah, so transversely.
Yeah, yeah, don't worry.
I guess.
I can promise you, I'll finish the thing.
Okay.
That'll get done. I have 3 other artists too, and they're good. They're really good. And I'll take all the other artists you got.
It seems like you do have a good track record, from
Yeah.
what I see here. But, I'm just concerned too that with our mural project that we have established,
Yes.
is that we have a strong, guidelines on the preservation of that mural.
Sure.
And the maintenance of that, and that kind of relies on you.
Yeah.
So in terms of coming back and taking care of it and, you know, and just to prep the wall correctly and this and that. And that I assume that, of course, you know how to do it with your track record. But I also understand that sometimes funding might get in the way. Like if you don't get all the money that you need, it's like, okay, I might not prep this wall the way it needs to be prepped, or I might not be able to poke the wall to protect the mural. So those are some of the things that we would also be concerned with.
Sure,
Even
sure,
more
sure.
than content.
Well, without, I'm sort of reaching into the future
Sure.
here.
Yeah.
And assuming, if that, I did a mural in my little hometown of Trumansburg called The History of Parks. And it has a Native American guy, it has, the founders of Trumansburg and his brother-in-law. It has an escaped slave who settled in Trumansburg, and it has, his name is, Lloyd Dorsey is his name, and he came there, and Abner Treeman, the guy who settled Trumansburg, sold him a piece of land, and he got the right to vote before Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Sojourner Truth, who are also in the mural, and they're all carrying parks, because it's a Napa Park store, and it's called The History of Parks. And it winds up with 2 local Trumansburg farmers coming out of the store with parks and so on. So it's just but it started to fade. This is my point. It started to fade. It's a blast of western sun that hits it for hours and hours. You know, I just noticed it as I drive by it. I live close by. I noticed it, and I just painted it. You know, I mean, I repainted the areas that were shot. Do the same thing here. You know, I've already done an amazing amount of work on this wall without knowing the fate of what's going to happen to it at all. You know, so I'm like, you know, bearing my soul here to the Arts Commission.
Is there a way to have a contingency approval where he could come back if there's, I think you should talk to the aquatic people and ask them to fund the
Yeah,
supply.
Yeah, you guys are in the same place. I guess I was trying to say is,
I mean, I love this beautiful.
are we allowed to, as staff, write a letter back to aquatics and say, listen, we've got a proposal in front of us, and, you know, we support it, but we need to see some kind of,
Some investment
Right.
into it from the owner.
does
Yeah.
it
That's
make
what
sense?
we're-
He offered it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he gave me a verbal that
It's great
said,
that, it's great
'cause
that he wants it on a
Wait,
space.
what did he offer you?
What we're trying to do is
What's-
the wall.
No, he gave you a verbal offer of what?
he what?
He gave you a verbal offer of what?
He didn't say the amount. He
Oh.
just said, we have
So
some
he's-
funding if you need it.
Okay.
And I said, no, you know, I'm like, oh, no, we'll get our funding.
No, yeah, no, you just get it from him.
Yeah. I can't get the whole deal.
Right,
No,
but
and
at
that's
least.
fine, but I would like to at least know that the supplies are covered, and then if you're okay to, you know, do it and fundraise from there,
Yeah.
that's great, and we
Yeah,
can
you
support
create a
it,
budget,
but
you
I
know.
wanna make sure that it gets completed or that
Yeah.
at least the resources are available.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
really
that would be good.
uncomfortable approving something without that, and I
Right.
truly believe that to have an integrated community
Project,
project,
yeah.
the stakeholder is the shop, and they need to put up a little money to.
Sure,
If I can,
I would agree.
if I can kind of like say what they're saying in my own words,
Sure.
we don't, at least I'll speak for myself, we don't have doubt in your capacity and your interest and your dedication to see this thing through. With no, I personally don't have any doubt in that. Your track record speaks to that. Your passion speaks to that.
That's good.
It's, I think the question mark lies in purely in having the dollars in the bank account.
Yeah.
And more specifically, having the materials on hand. If we knew that you had all the materials, not only the paint, but then also the sealant
Sealant,
and
yeah.
everything. If we knew you had all of those things, I think it'd be an easy yes. But
Okay.
I think because we believe, I'll speak for myself, I believe that you would see it
Yeah.
through, you would find a way to see it through if we knew that the materials were locked into place.
Okay, I'll talk to Chris Ryan, the owner of the store,
Yes, sir.
and see if he'd be willing
When
to
were you planning to
front
complete?
$1,000 for materials.
Okay.
I don't know whether he would, but
Yeah.
he might only be able to give 500.
We
But
should,
Well,
we should.
and
We
I,
should,
I
that's
also
totally-
wanna point out that this is, I think what we're all trying to get at too is, it's not that we don't, we value what you're offering.
Okay.
And we see that value.
Thank you.
But what we're seeing is that something's amiss, you know, somebody's not putting the money in somewhere, so where do we need to, who needs to step up in that instance?
Sure.
And
Okay.
literally my job, I care about advocating for artists, getting paid for what they do.
Yeah,
and
me
having
too.
the community value the art, so
Sure.
I just can't
And I
let
just-
them not give me
Yeah, I
something.
mean, like, and also it's interesting, it's like, you know, the animal side of things always works.
I think so.
No one's gonna knock it.
You know, that's a good idea.
You know what I mean, like it's some weird way.
What I have to do is get a blank check to make sure that the money that comes into an account can be transferred to my account.
You know what, I know exactly who needs to go there.
Oh,
The owner of Burnett Park Zoo is trying to put a multi-million-dollar.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. I was like, there's $80 million for the aquariums.
never don't want to have anything to do with millions of dollars. Just a few thousand would go really well.
Concern about state of that related to the Burnett's, so anyway.
Right.
I have another question. Another thing about that is,
Before we go to that, I have a question on the table.
Sure.
Okay, so
Yes.
your method of getting funding
Yeah.
is by going to GoFundMe. You're gonna set up a GoFundMe.
One of them.
Okay.
I also know a foundation owner, the Park Foundation. We're good friends.
Okay.
She gives me money enough, and she doesn't want to give me any more money, and she tells me such.
So
But-
my question is.
Yes, sir.
Can you get that funding if you don't yet have approval to move forward? Those, I mean, I've been involved in a lot of, community development projects.
Sure.
Where you need the permission to move forward before people will give you the money, okay?
Okay.
Otherwise,
Okay.
it's put it into a black hole.
Sure.
All right? So we're asking you, it seems at the moment,
Yeah.
to get money for something we haven't approved yet,
Yeah.
okay?
Right.
I'm
not sure
confident I
that's a
can.
reasonable thing to do.
Right.
It is putting the cart before the horse kind of thing,
Yeah.
but I'm confident that I can do that.
All right?
I've had a lot of practice painting murals and
Yeah,
I just think it will work.
GoFundMe's have lives too, so Emmanuel brings up the perfect point. We meet once a month,
yep.
right? So you could do a 30-day GoFundMe and have $6,500 in the bank and ready to rock by the
Yep.
next meeting.
Yep.
A month
And
from now.
meet with the owner.
Right.
But the trouble with delay
Yeah.
for me
Yeah.
is that some of the artists that I've sort of corralled for this project, or actually who have willingly volunteered,
Yeah.
are very talented,
Sure.
but have other things that are going
So,
on.
what's
In
the-
particular, the young woman who is a marvelous fish painter,
Yeah.
and she just paints fish. I mean,
Okay.
she's just really good, and I really want
Great.
these fish to be great.
Yeah.
You know, I can paint fish
What a
too.
niche.
I can paint, giant
Yeah.
red octopus, Pacific octopus. I can paint almost anything in a mural. But I want this
Right.
other talent to be
So
expressed.
would a month from today be killer of
Yeah, she's out on June 15th. She's going home to Connecticut to do something with her parents. Because I think she graduated from Cornell, I'm not sure. And she's taking 4 weeks and
So when did
saying,
you wanna start?
Next week.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's
No, we're not
crazy,
serious.
but I really want to start on May
That's what we're
15th.
asking here.
Yeah, May 15th to
May
June
15th.
15th.
Anxious to start.
And that's really nuts, I know. But I wanna lay a primer on it, you know, as soon as I'm done with this truck that I'm painting. There's a truck.
I just have a question because there's nothing about the opposite facing business. Have you talked? Because like there is a building there, so I'm just wondering.
There is.
What is? Yeah.
It's an AC place and he parks all his equipment and truck there.
Okay.
He didn't express, he might be a little annoyed at me for making him move his toxic waste barrels. Yeah, he might have a grudge, I don't know, I hope not.
You're killing the ocean. So-
No, I wouldn't say that, but
Yeah.
even though it's true.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I haven't asked him, but I haven't seen him either. I've been there on more than one occasion. And when he's there, you know, I talk to him and, you know, say hello and so on. Keep my side of the street clean. So I don't know. My guess is he won't care. The only thing he might have concern with is that it'll be, if we paint a really, you know, good piece here, it will draw people there into this little parking lot in an obscure area of Erie Boulevard.
I mean, it increases his
Well,
property.
not obscure, but you know.
It increases the property value.
It increases his property
Yeah.
value, right?
It's also the fifth.
His taxes go up?
Intersection.
No, just.
Yeah.
Traffic
No,
lights
it's yours.
because of the cross.
If you were to sell this property, probably get,
Oh, more affordable.
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, okay.
his assessment.
What are the so hearing his question
Yeah, I mean,
and
his question-
his
Yeah,
point
it's
of
a really
view
good question.
does help me think about it, you know, I just want it to be done. I like it, I want it for that building, and I wanna be sure that it's done.
Yeah.
Is there a way to prove with a contingency that we hear from the aquatic people that they will kick in
Yeah, that's
some
kind of
monetary
what I'm
support? Because
That's fine.
I'll email Kate.
Because then I move to approve based on the aquatic dive shop supplying some funds towards,
Yes, okay.
towards that, because that is important, that is
That
very
is
relevant.
important. And that's a good contingency
And
plan.
I will
That's
fight
good.
for artists to get paid all day long.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Daniel, materials, you said materials are 1,000?
I would say there's a lot of square footage on this one,
Yeah.
900 and something square foot.
So here's my opinion, and I think
$50
that,
square foot.
I think that we could maybe, like, specify what we're talking about. My opinion, my feeling on this, is that we should, have ask the business owner to supply all the equipment, all the materials.
All the materials?
Because listen, the fact that you pointed his walls, the fact that you pointed the bricks is worth at least that amount of money. At least that amount, the fact that the work that you've already done to his property is already worth, at least $1,000.
I don't know if I could.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I did put a couple of days
Well,
in,
you are saying the same
find the
thing,
whole
you just, you
thing.
can't put a gun to someone's
I
head.
don't
You
No,
must-
understand.
You must
I don't-
take this
I don't
money.
know.
Yeah.
I don't wanna put him in that position
Yeah.
to force him into paying me
Okay.
through art materials. Good strategy. I get it, you know, it's
No,
like, hey,
I
pay
get
up, you know.
No, yeah.
But
Yeah, I think,
if you're
I
not
think
careful
if
with
there
that.
can be a commitment from the owner
Sure.
to
Yep.
participate financially in this project
Yes.
is what we're
Yeah.
looking for.
Okay.
I agree with
And
that.
then you can
Well,
start for
no, but we are not allowed to, create some
create
sort of like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, and I think
Just have
I don't wanna set a precedent of,
Different open enrollment.
Yeah, I mean, I think coming from us, it's going to like change the vernacular real
Yeah.
quick for him, because it has some sort of air of officiality, which means the project can't move forward without, whatever. So, will you fund my wall? No. The Syracuse Public Art Commission has given me permission to put this mural up. Will you fund my wall now? Yes. Right?
yeah, I just think we have these other it's not related, but we have the
Yes.
other mural projects projects where the owners are really committed to making these things happen,
Yes,
the
yep.
Yellow Band fundraise money,
Yep.
we want community buy-in, you're an outside artist, I think having the owner buying into this project is important, and I think we should set an example of
Yeah,
that happening,
exactly.
especially when we're reaching out to other developers.
Yeah. And when he does, because he will,
I think he will too.
I will share your GoFundMe, and I promise you.
Yes,
just by-
we'll all promote your GoFundMe.
just by-
Oh, great. Okay, well, that's
You
good.
know what I mean? So we'll have some swell behind you.
Sure.
Once
So,
you're,
so
you know.
we have a motion on the table.
Yes.
Is there a second to Dennis?
I'll second.
Okay.
Oh, no, he's got it.
Okay.
I'll give it to
You second? He's got it.
Okay, all right.
Got it.
That, my ears caught that one, and that was close.
That
That
was
one was
close.
right in there.
I gotta get my,
That was
I gotta get my drop there.
Yeah, we
Yeah, right?
And then you were right.
Any further discussion? Sorry,
I would just like to say that we, on behalf of the SPAC, thank you for coming from Trumansburg and
Oh,
yeah.
out this way.
Thank you so much for the first mural in Syracuse, New York. Hope it's not the last.
There you go.
Yeah.
I really love the idea of having an art commission that I have to present to. I was all nervous. Should I wear a flower? No, I was scared a little bit.
Danny,
I see that you guys are who you are.
one suggestion, which like, you know,
Isn't
Yep.
that on the
just a
website?
suggestion, take it.
By all means.
It'd be nice to, it'd be nice to have
I know
like
that former
what do you call it, a plaque or something that was like a key, so that
Yeah.
they could see it, and it,
Yeah,
you
some
know,
kind of educational, yeah.
I do
so
that.
you could see like that it would label the different.
Yep, I do that anyway.
Or
I'll
like a
probably
QR
do it
code.
with this.
Yeah, yeah.
What I usually do is when you walk along one of my murals that like you wouldn't necessarily know what it was about
Yeah.
until you read what was on
Yeah,
the bottom
I
of
love
it.
that. I
It's
love
like a narrative
Yeah,
of what
yeah.
you're looking at as you're walking along it
Yeah.
and looking at it.
Yeah.
And you can read, you guys can have those, okay?
Thank you.
I just knocked them out at the coffee shop.
There's a
We
motion
still have to,
and a
we still have to
second.
do some.
Oh, yeah, so we gotta
Motion
vote.
and a second, there's
Sure, okay.
discussion. Okay.
Any more discussion?
There you go. No, so
Vote.
You
I
can call
move
for the
that we
vote.
vote. Let's vote.
Okay,
Raise your hands and say aye if you would like to
aye.
do so.
Woo!
Yeah, yeah, all right.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for
And so Dan,
Good job, Dan. Good.
Thank you very much.
what we'll do is
Thank you.
we'll keep the line of communication open here.
Oh, yeah.
And you talk to Chris and report back to us, and
Okay.
and when we have an understanding of their participation, and you're ready to go with the digital side of things, step into my realm, the digital world, and I'll help you get it out.
Okay, man, great.
I wanna know exactly what we are approving, because he really wants to start next week. So,
Yes, yeah.
if he
You're right.
finds out, tomorrow that, the owner is gonna kick in,
$1,000.
$500 or $1,000, it's a go, and along the way, we, do a fundraise.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what we
Yes.
understand.
Yes.
So basically, he's gonna give you some money,
Yeah.
because he said he would.
Yes, he did say
So that
that.
means that you just let Kate know, and Kate would let the rest of us know.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And if we can help convince him to give more money, I would be willing.
Could I say to him, look, the Syracuse
Yeah, I don't know.
Arts Council
Yeah.
said it was okay.
And not only
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
but highly
They-
encouraged.
Yeah.
And
Contingent
we're really
upon-
looking- are really looking for
Community
his,
buy-in.
his
Participation.
in terms of
Yes.
Yeah.
his support.
And if you
Yeah.
need in any capacity, Dan, some sort of official something, Kate and I can draft something.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's-
Okay.
Yeah, if there's a piece
That's-
that's needed.
Yep.
Okay.
You can walk in there
Because
with a
it's
letter
not
and
an
hand it to
obscure corner, and you
Yeah.
need to know that. That's
Yeah.
actually a great
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
We have
Good corner, all
the
day.
entire path trail that they just built and poured a lot of money into via the state, goes straight through there.
Wow.
And they
Yes.
have added historic markers along the path, and so they are promoting cross-country bike trips that go right through that area.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Plus
Because
the
it will
Plus
be
the
a
number
point
of
of
cars.
interest.
Yes.
I mean, it's like,
Absolutely, this is.
yeah, I mean,
If
you
this,
wouldn't
if this
see.
business owner knows what's good for them, he would dump all the money, like,
Yeah.
that's a huge value for that.
Yeah, that's
Huge
what I
value,
figure
that
too,
business.
and I think he realizes it, you know, I think
Yeah.
he actually does get it,
Yeah.
that I really am serious about, you know, educating people about the ocean.
Yeah.
And guess what? You sell diving equipment.
Exactly.
It's like,
Exactly right.
it's not an advertisement per se.
No, it's a smart, yeah.
Is that Chris?
yeah,
I'm
right,
not
exactly.
sure.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fine. So
Yes,
that
probably it is.
Yeah, there you go.
definitely should be.
There you go.
I thought the polar guy might be.
Yeah.
There's a diver in every
the
section
photo,
of the
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
I
the
don't,
guy
you know,
with
it's
the
like
print.
walks the fine line of advertising, I don't want it to be
No,
that.
no, it's
just
perfect.
humans exploring the sea.
It's perfect.
Okay.
It's really about the sea, it's
Yeah.
not about,
Alright.
it's not about anything else.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Alright.
Keep those as keep safe for me,
Yeah.
thank you again for your good questions.
So, move right on to discussion, tell us about
Just quickly, cities, towns, we know that the second RFP is not
Yep.
out. By the
seeing like
way,
jazz, I put it across everything.
Asphalt art, we are extending by another 2 weeks.
You are,
because
okay.
We did not get, to May
Many.
20th. Because we got 7 submissions.
You got 7? Wow. I
But-
thought they were like,
Well, there were only about 2,
okay.
you know, a week ago, and now there are 7.
Yeah.
But we would like to extend that.
Yeah.
Are
And
you?
there's some quality in there, but
Yeah, okay.
we just, because we're gonna select 3 finalists
Sure.
that are gonna present to the public, so we want to make
Is,
sure that.
is SPAC gonna be on it beforehand, or are we gonna be at the end?
Thank you.
I'd like to
Thanks,
see this.
thank you.
Yep, see you later.
SPAC will be,
I know
well,
it's
very
a
much
gap
like
sheet.
the city's canvas, will
Yeah.
be approving it, obviously, before it gets installed.
For the final, but are we
And the
gonna,
final.
is there gonna be some kind of, everyone gets to see
Yes,
public vote submitted?
yeah.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, that will be public vote.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
there'll be-
So all 7 are gonna be up for display?
Oh, no, not
That's what I'm saying, I wanna see them.
Sorry, no.
Yeah.
There's a selection committee that's gonna select 3 finalists.
Who on that committee is represented?
Oh, SPAC, we do need to select someone from SPAC to sit on that committee.
Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry, I was.
No, I was not ready to
was-
flip the
sorry, I
table
was-
over.
So we can discuss who.
Okay, good, very good. No, because we have to have representation, or else they can change the rules around us and we can get
Well,
behind.
they can, because.
You know what I mean?
Oh, and then,
That's not on pavement. It doesn't matter if it's an advertisement.
very quickly, so, there will be Emily Campbell told me from doing the
The
film.
movie?
Yes.
Movie on, and they are gonna be putting up a temporary mural on the Case Supply building.
Are you convincing them to do boards?
It's gonna be, she just came to me with, one part of it is gonna be on a concrete block part that will actually be painted.
Yeah.
A small, I can show you.
There's a movie shooting in town that's,
This is on the Case
has
Supply.
a local crew and everything, and it got like, it's all funded and ready to rock, and it's
Oh,
about
they can
a
leave
bunch
it.
of boys,
Looks great.
Well,
young
That's okay, that's
Spanish
okay,
boys
so
who
we
grew up
like
in the
it.
neighborhood, and they're,
There may be some.
inspired by a mural with wall of boxers on it. And,
I like
and
it.
so they, the
Keep it.
film commission and everything started getting a hold of me, asking what the deal is, and they, said they want to do it for the movie, and I'm like, okay, this is a first, they're like calling ahead and asking if they can do it, as opposed to just doing it, right? So I went right to Kate and said, like, let's figure it out, and I guess they're just scouting right now, but basically, they're gonna temporarily put up,
They're gonna be temporary,
Boards.
Okay.
yeah,
not actually on boards,
Or
apparently,
something?
it's gonna be on canvas
Okay.
that is applied sort of like wallpaper.
oh, cool,
And then it's only gonna be up for a few weeks, 4 weeks or so.
And I
The,
seen them text, boxing heroes. right?
Yeah.
Is that what?
yeah, and the
that's
idea,
exactly
yeah,
it. Yeah,
the-
apparently there's some local known things, I don't know the boxing community, but apparently there's some famous boxers.
oh yeah, 100%, right in the arrow side, you got the Ronaldo doing his own thing, and
Yeah,
everything, and
yeah.
so, but
So-
I guess they were trying to make it, yeah, an actual mural, and they actually, they messaged Syracuse Public Art Commission, right, and I went, oh, I know, hey, Emily, it's Michael John, we talked for a second, And it like went back and forth, and the more they talked about it, the more I was like, wow, you guys wanna like do it for real? This is freaking awesome. But their time crunch was like,
But, oh, yeah, and
Yeah.
no, I mean, next week, or no, in a couple weeks, it won't be,
They couldn't squeeze it
installing
into
it.
the next
The
meeting.
idea though is if it catches enough fire though, you could invite the others to come back and do it
Yeah.
permanently. We
Yeah.
could, you know, there are any number of things that could happen, but it'll be up there for maybe a month or so. And then will be removed unless asked not to. So,
cool.
anyway. Okay, so there's that.
So
and then-
nothing, no funding. He paid an artist. It's an outside artist. They paid him to come in and do it. So he does, and there it is.
I'm sorry, Joe,
You have to go.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
yeah, of course, good to see you.
And then
Yeah, I gotta go
Thank
see
you.
too.
last Wednesday
Oh,
was.
yeah. Sorry.
was
We met here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were here with, Emmanuel's and Jocelyn's class,
It was awesome.
and it was a really good presentation, I thought they did, and the boys are downstairs, hanging out downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I wanna see him, yeah.
I didn't see him. I'll see him on the way out. His landscape architectural class presented on like parks and like transitioning and like, and it was crazy because I got excited. I really thought, as sitting in the back of the room watching them all, I really thought that they were all like young and cool because they were like, we're gonna activate and program these spaces. And I was like, oh my god! And I was like getting all excited in the back of the room, and I went to the manual afterwards, and I'm like, was that one of the requirements of the course to like make sure that the final project had like activations past just the presentation? And he was like, yes. And I was like, oh, okay. But like it was like really, they really did some impressive work, and connecting parks and like making like like making like just amazing like presentations, and they actually put some real thought into it. It was very impressive, and we got to check it out.
It does have obviously strong, I'm sorry, not,
Yeah.
you,
Oh,
please go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, what they were asked to do is take a look at the parks in each of the 4 quadrants of the city, and look at opportunities for connection among the parks, but also looking for opportunities for performance spaces, opportunities for public art, and of course, urban forest canopy. And I think to me the key part is really about the opportunities for displays of public art, because if we want to eventually get to where we can negotiate with Casanovia's Art Park and with regional universities about getting art from their collections, the best graduating sculptor gets a display for 2 years, right after that kind of thing. Yet they're going to want to know where would this work be displayed, and what are the conditions? Will it be safe? Will it be visible? So on. So that's what the students are doing. And so I'm hoping, and Kate and I want to talk briefly about this, but I'm hoping that maybe in the fall we might, in a meeting of this group specifically, have a kind of re-presentation, but shorter than all the students doing it, and think about what might be some of the possibilities, whittling it down to what might be the first 2 or 3 things to try.
I would love that, because I can't make those meetings, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I regret it, but yeah,
It was wild.
I'd love to see.
It was super cool.
Yes,
We're gonna
sir.
digitize them too. We're gonna.
Yeah, they are
Well,
digitized.
we have them all as PDFs.
Okay.
And so, what I can do is, it'll take a little while messing around with it, but I can make a thumb drive. Well, I was gonna say, I can put everything on a thumb drive and give it to the art
And,
team.
Yeah, I'd love
And
that.
you guys can make as many
Cool.
copies as you want, and
I think
That's a great
somebody
idea.
with me
Thank
is
you.
gonna do it anyways, right?
Ruthie wanted to, and I need to share it, I need to share it with you.
Okay. Cool.
Because she wanted to,
Yeah,
on
don't
the
work
city
with that.
side, to communicate Ruthie and her, she wanted to be able to share some of the students.
And one of them in particular was absurd. Not
What
just
side of the
because
city was that?
It was on by the lake.
yeah.
Oh,
It
sorry,
was like
that one.
rendered properly, like
I
she
understand.
must have used like AutoCAD or something, like to really render it correctly. And it was a giant, like sculptural piece of public art that like went over the water a little bit, that happened to have a park on top of It was unreal.
Yeah, the
I
training
actually was
camp-
like, oh my god, what is that? It was reminiscent of like the most epic and largest pieces of public art on the planet.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say,
it had like 3 concentric circles that were grass, and it was just unreal.
really only seen at this point in Abu Dhabi, but however.
Right. Like, I mean, like,
That doesn't
to make it a reality
Syracuse.
is impressive.
Yeah, absolutely, no.
The kind of piece that people would come from like all over just to like
To see
check
it.
out. Yeah.
But a lot of the work is actually really very doable.
Oh yeah, without doubt. Without doubt, they did a good job in that case.
Outrageous expenditure and,
No.
you know, so, yeah, you know, take a look and, again, maybe during the fall, we can do use one of our meetings for a presentation and do
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
talk
without doubt.
about how we might.
For
move
example,
forward.
because then we're heading, we should have parts of this too, when we do
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
because we're then heading into the budget season.
City's campus 2 is like sculptural.
Oh, that
Right?
would be great, but it's so much more expensive.
Yeah.
Yes, but yes.
I
we
mean,
should.
that's the one thing I wish for city's campus,
Yes.
is that it was requiring some binding to the property owners, because it doesn't.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it
Yeah.
did. Oh, I was
Mention
talking out my
it.
ass then.
Well,
Like, no, some
well, no, I
do,
mean,
some, like the
they've
Delta
been
guys.
good. They've been very good. Everything we did so far.
They don't
Right,
have to,
right.
and I
Yeah,
think
but the
that
Delta
we're.
has a new owner. I don't
Right,
think that would
right.
happen
We
with
also, well, we did it too because we were definitely afraid that they would know when we put their buildings up, right? And because it's a short time frame, but we also realized that if we did it the open way, that the right kind of people would come and we'd know who to go to and be able to say, we know that you're a proponent of the arts and you're gonna be good to us about it, so let's talk, you know what I mean? Because it's like open source for like the walls, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I think in his mind, he's in some back corner place that nobody cares about. That was, he kind of kept, oh, this obscure corner, oh,